Dreams do come true. So kids, what's your dream?
What more is in you? So bright, colorful and new. Sometimes it feels hard, but you don't wanna give up.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
You can see my dream?
Of course, because I too had a dream. Some days I dreamt of becoming a tennis player and some days a cricketer. To make their dreams real tomorrow, you need financial planning today. Choose from a range of child plans from Aegis Federal Life Insurance and help your child dream big.
Hello and welcome to an interview which I have been looking forward to for the last few days, because when on 13th of November or sometime this man spoke about success and failure, it sort of struck a chord. Yes, Bengaluru FC dominated the Indian Super League for several years, and then they had to face a couple of years of reverses. But that's what brings out the best in a team, the best in the leader that Sunil Chhetri is. And then when that 93.40-second header happened, the resurgence started. And what a resurgence it has been. From that Northeast United FC match to today, yes, Bengaluru are in the final. And once again, Sunil Chhetri, the leader, has proved why he is who he is and why he gives me and the rest of India hope for Indian football. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you.
I can't wish you the best because I will support Mohun Bagan. That's point number one.
No problem.
I will also support Sunil Chhetri. Tell me, when that Northeast United 1-1, 93rd minute, 94th, did you actually believe that the turnaround was possible?
No, not as... I would be lying if I said that we completely believed in it. What we did believe was if we stuck together, we can give whatever we have in every game. At that moment, Baruada, we needed to win 6 games and draw 2 in the last 8. But coming to the 7th game, we still had to win 1 more. So that's how tough and how marginal it was. So that's why at Northeast or after that Jamshedpur or Odisha, we did not think or believe completely that we're going to qualify. But we did know that taking 1 game at a time and keeping us alive gives us 1 more opportunity in the next game. So we were hanging by the thread and we're taking 1 game at a time at that moment. And that's why probably we have reached where we have reached.
And as leader, what were you telling your boys? How do you hang on? Because you've lost. You were in the 9th position at one point in the 10th. Exactly. So how does Sunil Chhetri inspire the boys?
This time around, I did not have to speak a lot. We have some amazing personalities in the dressing room, personalities who do not want to lose, personalities whose reputations were on the line, personality who have come with huge pedigrees. So that's why I did not speak that much, but I was just trying to be a good example. The going was getting tougher for every one of us. But me being who I am and the senior most in the team, I try to apply myself properly in training. And no matter what, with my behavior and actions, I never gave up. And I think it was everyone in the dressing room who felt and behaved the same way. And that is why anything in a resurgent manner was possible. It was very easy, or maybe an easier route to give up after the East Bengal game, where we needed to win 7 out of 8 games just to qualify. It would have been easier to give up, put your head down, shrugging your shoulders. But I can't tell you why and how, but none of us gave up. And in training, everyone was giving their best. As I said, a lot of people are playing for a lot of different reasons. And the same thing that bit us before, which was every one of us not doing well and losing, turned around and everyone doing a little bit better than what we could, is why we have reached here.
Tell me, Sunil, you've dominated the Indian football landscape for several years. People would, if there's one brand that Indian football has, it's Sunil Chhetri. Now, having said that, from that position to number 10, Were you complacent at any point, inadvertently, subconscious that you reached there? We talk about mental health. We talk about so many things. What was it for you?
That's a great question, Baroda, because I don't know whether I've talked about this before. In summer, we played the qualifiers for the national team. And personally, I was flying. I think I scored 4 goals in 3 matches. Then we had the Durand Cup. Where I hadn't won the Durand. I won, we won. So I think, yes, I was complacent. I can't tell you how I know this. And I can't tell you exactly which moment I was, but I was. Small margins like my weight or the way I was thinking or the fact that I thought I'm Sunil Chhetri and nothing wrong can happen did play a role. I realized it quite late, not December starting. And that's also the time when I was benched. I didn't start 3-4 games. And that really hit me. And rather than doing the obvious thing of blaming others, I started looking within myself. And that's where people like my wife and my close friends really helped. Because then I realized that small margins that I'm very good at taking care of is what I was missing. So then I started fixing those things, and slowly and steadily what happens is when I fix things and I do better, it translates to the whole dressing room.
Yeah.
And in each and every one, I told you, are great personalities, the Jingans, the Gurpreet, the Roy Krishnas, the Harvey, the Alan, the Alex, everyone caught up and everyone started pushing each other. And that is why probably we could turn the tide around. But yes, you are right. There was a sense of complacency. I can't tell you exactly how do I know it, but I know it was there. Small margins like my weight, my turning, my recovery, everything wasn't as sharp as probably what it is today or what I'm generally known for. And the only silver lining is I caught it up quite early. I fixed it and now I feel good.
Fantastic that you opened up. What does it take for a sports person and someone of your caliber mentally to come to terms with the fact that, oh, you know what? Yes, I'm in trouble, but I've got to turn this around. How tough is it mentally and how do you do it?
I think for me, what works is to go back and to understand why I play football. So every time, because of who I am, there's a lot of noise from here, there and everywhere. And you get caught up because you're a human being. You're a social being. You're a social species. It matters to you as to what people think, your close group and a bigger circle. And you do, no matter how much you say that I put off the noise, it does reach you. It does affect you. It does get you sometimes. But I think those moments, and also when it is combined with losses, what do you try and what I could after a point was to understand why I play football. Why in the first case you started playing football? What joy does it give you? And then things start falling in place. Because then it is not important as to what you're hearing. It is not important what people are thinking about you, their opinions and all does not matter to you that much. Because at the end of the day, you know this is something which is not going to stay forever. Playing football at this level, I know for a fact is not going to stay forever. More so for me now, because of where I am. So whatever time that is left, months, years, matches, this 20, 30, 40, whatever matches that are left, I really want to enjoy it. Because after 5 years, when you and me are sitting with a drink and talking about, you would not want to hear me saying the last 1.5 years I was mentally not happy. That's something that you or probably anyone who likes me would not want to hear. So that's why I got back to the basic and said, you know what, let me enjoy football. There are a few things that you take care so that you can enjoy it to the fullest, physically and mentally. Just take care of that. Rest, you will lose some. It's football and it's in life. You're going to lose some. You're going to be criticized, this, that, everything will happen because of who you are. But just go out and enjoy. When
the chips were down, the fans backed you. A word for them because they've been with you.
Any amount of words will be less, because it's amazing. As I said, we don't enjoy the kind of culture, we don't enjoy the kind of history that other big clubs in the country have or enjoy. But just in 10 years, the kind of camaraderie we have built with the fans and the way they feel about the club. I can tell you the way I feel for the club being here for 10 years. There are so many of the fans who feel the same, if not more. And that is the reason why you did not see them losing hope completely. They completely deserve this as much as we do, the turnaround. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible.
Mohun Bagan versus Bengaluru FC is another derby. I mean, East Bengal is not simply the only derby now. I mean, for Indian football, look at what the interest is in Goa. People from Kolkata have travelled, from Bengaluru have travelled, your former club, 4 players playing, people who played for Mohun Bagan. Build it up for me. What does it mean to you? How you won it in the past? When I think back to your ISL triumphs, you dominated the league stage and then you went on to win. But this time round, it's a different story. You were down, you were kicked, you were out. And from there on, you're in the final. Will this mean that much more?
It will, but we're trying our best not to take all this feelings towards the final. The fact that us and Mohun Bagan probably are and I think I'm right when I say it's the biggest rivalry in the last 10 years in Indian football, without a shadow of doubt, and without demeaning any other clubs. When they were Mohun Bagan and now they're ATK Mohun Bagan, our matches with them two teams and now one has been one of the most fierce battles. I mean, neutrals will tell you this is the best game to watch in the last 10 years. Apart from that, keeping everything aside, we're just thinking about the final as normal as game as possible. We're trying to keep our cool, not thinking about who was there, what history I have played there, or we had the rivalry, or this or that. We want to keep all this thing aside because it's not going to help us. What's going to help us is keeping things simple as what we've done in the last 11 games. What's going to help us is try to read as much as possible on the present ATK Mohun Bagan team and going there, applying ourselves properly, and the most important thing, keeping our nerves and head. That will give us an edge.
Yeah, I mean, that was the question, that when Alan Costa scored that 94th minute goal, do you think that was the turning point when you look back to this journey?
We did not know that at that time, Boria. I think, yes, that was one of the catalysts, but we did not know that. People like Shiva Shakti, Rohit, Suresh, Roshan leading the charge when all the other senior ones weren't doing great has been one of the main things. They started the whole campaign of let's revive, and then all the Havis and the Chhetris and the Roy and the Sandesh and the Gurpreets joined in. But these youngsters showed us the way. They are the ones who have done really well at this club in this particular year. So I think it's an amalgamation of a lot of things. But yes, because we go back to the Northeast game and the catalyst is the Alan Costa header.
Sunil, scoring twice against Mumbai, that game awareness against Kerala, what do these goals mean to you?
I think when the goal happens and when I talk about the goals, I always say this, it's always the final outcome. What I'm more bothered about, how I reach there. Because scoring that goal at the last moment is probably the easiest part. But leading to there, to be as fit as possible, to be a good team, to make sure that we create chances is probably the toughest part, and people don't talk about that much, about those things. Scoring, I mean, imagine once the ball is on the air, Roshan's ball, the last bit is the easiest part, put a head and score a goal. But everything leading to it is probably the difficult one, especially where we were. So I think the credit goes to the whole team. And I'm not trying to sound cliche, but I was always being the one who was probably chose to or was picking up the cherries, or I was the last bit on the cake. I'm just the decoration. And I'm not trying to be modest, Boria. I genuinely mean it. We work really hard. No, we work really hard as a team. And scoring, and of course, because I am good at scoring and I've got a lot of history and I've got a lot of practice. So that's why I'm there. That's why for the country and club, I'm there and I get more opportunities. And the chances are created. And just for the last 22 years, I've been in the receiving end.
How do you tackle pressure? Do you tackle saying, I want to stay calm? How the hell do you tackle pressure and say, no, I will not be impacted? Maybe, who knows how many more ISL finals you will play. Fingers crossed you play more. But none of us know that. So how do you tackle pressure?
I try to stick to the routine that I have every day. So what happens is all those routines of getting up at a particular time, doing my stretches, having a breakfast at a particular time, reading a little bit in the morning, all these things keeps me away from the match. Because if I don't do that routine, which takes a lot of energy of mine, and also I really want to do them, you will keep thinking about the game. This is one habit that I've built because of who I am. If I'm idle and doing nothing, there are a lot of things that I'm going to start thinking. But that's how your mind works. So I've got a set routine on my training days and my match days, which takes a lot of time and energy, and I stick to them. So it gives me less time to think about the game or the pressures that come with it.
Last question, Sunil. Last question. Yes, I don't want to I know you want to stay in the present, but if you win this one, and you've won many, for India, for Mohun Bagan, for clubs, for Bengaluru, where will that be? Because clearly, according to me, when it's an underdog story, and this time around Bengaluru was an underdog, at least in January, it means that much more for a star, for a player, for a captain. Where will it be?
Boy, it'll be brilliant, Marilla. I mean, you don't say things like this before it happens, but if and when we win it, it'll be brilliant. By the virtue of playing for 22 years, I've won many trophies, and I've won trophies with different clubs and my country, and I've won in different ways. But this will be that much sweeter because forget about other people, but even in the dressing room, we had doubts. We would be lying if any one of us tells you that we didn't have doubts, that we even if we're going to qualify. So from that moment to go and win the final, that means 12 matches where we have dominated and won the games would be brilliant. I just hope that we can talk about it after a few days and we can reflect on this talk that we had.
So you will give me another 20 minutes odd. I know I'll finish off here. So and many congratulations for that run. I mean, 10 wins and that shootout win. Massive, absolutely massive. As I said, let the best team win. My heart says Mohun Bagan, but my heart also says Sunil Chhetri. So I leave it at that. I leave it at that because fandom is not something any of us can control. Sunil, always a pleasure. You're sort of been a friend for me for years and someone I will always admire and support. So maybe another conversation 5 days, 7 days down the line when I celebrate Sunil Chhetri. Thank you very much.